Marketers always seem to consider internal communications or like the employees last. And then internal communicators don't want to consider their work marketing. And when those two come together, there's something really magical that happens. And I've definitely seen internal marketing elevate a company to just like an entirely new level. So when you see that, when the internal brand and the external brand are really aligned, I feel like there's such an incredible halo effect. Like sales gets easier, marketing gets easier, hiring gets easier, like your goals, just because everyone understands them, everything becomes a little bit more achievable and things just feel like they run so much more smoothly. I think people or like prospects and customers and everybody stops seeing the company as like just a bunch of disparate departments and start seeing them like as a real company, like one kind of cohesive vision. And that's so like you just can't get that any other way.
Welcome to the Internal Marketing Podcast, the unique podcast series that flips the marketing conversation from external to internal, exploring all the ways that companies can build the brand and drive growth by engaging and empowering its employees to become powerful ambassadors of the company brand. I'm your host, Kerry-Ann Stimpson, and I'm very happy to bring you this episode where we'll be talking about how to create an engaging employee experience with internal marketing. But first, do you wonder if your internal emails are being read and engaged with? Then take a look at Workshop. It's the #1 email platform for internal communications that integrates with all your favorite comms channels and data sources. With a tool like Workshop, you can easily track the results of your emails with real-time analytics, cross-post your messages to the channels your team uses the most, like Slack and SharePoint, and you can discover what content performs the best, all so that you can improve your strategy over time. Go beyond open rates to measure the effectiveness of your internal emails. Learn more at useworkshop.com. Now, let's jump into this conversation with my featured guest, Jamie Bell. Jamie is the VP of Marketing with Workshop, our Season 4 sponsor, of course. And Jamie will be sharing about how companies can use internal marketing to create an engaging employee experience. Hi, Jamie. Welcome to the Internal Marketing Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. It's great to see you.
Great to see you as well. So we know each other very well.
Yes.
It's no secret at all that Workshop is our Season 4 sponsor, and you've been our sponsor for the last 3 seasons. So, yeah, you and I know each other very well. We would have met initially online when we started the conversation about how we could perhaps partner together in really putting this podcast out to the world. And as far as I understood it, it came from the fact that you were one of what I know to be a handful of marketers in the world who was passionate about internal marketing, so you were
Yeah.
a marketing leader after my own heart, right? And really, really very grateful to you and to the Workshop team for coming on board and joining me in this journey of just getting the message of internal marketing out there with all of the challenges that exist in getting it out there. But that's probably a whole other episode, right? But but going back again, to that initial conversation, Jamie, is that obviously I would have picked up from you the fact that you were and still are passionate about the whole matter of internal marketing, which is, how companies are engaging employees in the mission, the vision, the purpose of the organization with the ultimate objective of empowering, motivating and empowering employees to be great ambassadors of the company brand and being part of that company journey and achieving company success. And I'd love
Yeah.
to just kick off this conversation, Jim. If you could kind of just give us a peek into your journey as to how you came to that point, to that realization. Because let's be frank, as marketers in marketing school, we were trained to focus on the customer, right? And that's okay. It's a customer while we're in business, right? And we got to love our customers. But to be a marketer and still recognizing the critical importance, the equally, if not more so, critical importance of engaging your people first
Right.
That's an unusual position. So I'd love to get some insight into your journey and how you came to that realization and that passion as well.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, I mean, I love that phrase internal marketing. And you're right. I found you. I Googled that phrase and you're like the only podcast that comes up on this topic. And we really like bonded over, a passion for that as like a craft, as something marketers should focus on. And it's just been so funny, like to be VP of marketing for an internal communications tool like that. Just like that relationship has been so interesting and is so kind of like combative sometimes, unnecessarily so, I think. And to your point, like marketers always seem to consider internal communications or like the employees last. And then internal communicators don't want to consider their work marketing. And I think we've both like share a passion for like when those two come together, there's something really magical that happens. And I've definitely seen internal marketing elevate a company to just like an entirely new level. So when you see that, when the internal brand and the external brand are really aligned, I feel like there's such an incredible halo effect. Like sales gets easier, marketing gets easier, hiring gets easier, like your goals, just because everyone understands them, everything becomes a little bit more achievable and things just feel like they run so much more smoothly. I think people or like prospects and customers and everybody stops seeing the company as like just a bunch of disparate departments and start seeing them like as a real like company, like one kind of cohesive vision. And that's so like you just can't get that any other way, right? So I saw all of that personally at a previous organization. They really had a huge emphasis on employee experience. We brought employees into our marketing and created really like meaningful experiences for employees, just for the people who works there. We considered them part of our marketing audience. So we would host internal conferences. We would create employee specific videos for things. We would use them in like employees in our marketing campaigns, our external campaigns. And we really created a company culture that kind of radiated externally as well. And I feel like it was such a huge factor in the business, like in the business's success. So it's what led us to building workshop and just wanting to really support internal communicators and marketers and like in who are focused on employees specifically and communicating and marketing to employees.
Thanks so much for sharing that. And, it leads me to really my next question, Jamie, which is on the whole matter. And what we're really going to be getting into in this episode is about the whole matter of employee experience, right?
Right.
So I'm going to, pay homage to the internal marketing scholars to acknowledge the fact that when we talk about the P's of internal marketing, because, marketing, place, price, product, promotion. In the case of internal marketing, it is often said by those scholars that the P or the product of internal marketing is actually the employee experience. And the employee experience are rolled up into the culture of the organization, the salaries and benefits, compensation, all of the things that go into what an employee gets from their employer through what should be really a great employee experience. And
Mm.
so when we talk about internal marketing, we talk about the need to have a great employee experience if you hope to achieve your internal marketing objective of engaging and motivating and empowering employees to become the raving fans of the company brand, so to speak. Now, that being said, in your experience, because again, you've worked with some great organizations who really understand the importance of employee experience and the need to have a great employee experience and how internal marketing impacts that. Could you share with us then, Jamie, in your view, how does internal marketing impact employee experience and what kind of outcomes you would have seen from that?
Yeah. So I think on a basic level, when you look at internal marketing as like promoting the company's mission and vision and values and goals and products and services and all of that, I mean, it's just like anything else with communication, right? Like you need that repetition. You need people to feel like really bought into that. So to make it, to leverage all of your marketing skills to sort of influence that is really, really powerful. So to be able to like brand different initiatives or like make icons for like the company goals or the values or anything like that, I feel like you just see so much power there. I mean, I can't tell you how many, and I think all of us are guilty of this at some point, but how many companies I've been a part of where people can't recite the mission, vision, values, goals of the year. And like they need that marketing help to be able to like reiterate those messages consistently and to get employees like excited enough about them to care and really drive towards that. And then, I think it's like selfishly as far as like as marketing goes, like I just think that there's a big benefit to being able to like share some of those things that marketing is doing to like impact those values and impact those goals and get people really excited. Like when you're messaging, about a new marketing campaign or something like that, it's really powerful to be able to like share that with employees and things too and get them really excited about how those things are working. And it helps the entire company to stay on brand and on message, which is great for any marketer.
Absolutely, got to agree with that. Could you give us a peek inside of workshop, Jamie? Because obviously, when you speak, what comes out is that not only do you work for the company that offers the number one tool for internal communications, right? A little bit of bias there, but it's all good, right? We're number one.
I'll take
And
it. I'll
so
take
it
it.
is what it is.
You said it.
Uh,
You said it.
exactly. But be that as it may, though, I mean, I'm sure workshop. I'm confident that workshop practices what it preaches, right? And so
Yeah.
I'd love for you to just give us a peek inside of workshop as far as how does workshop do internal marketing to its team members in a way that really lends itself to a great employee experience.
Yeah, of course. So we're workshops at about 60 employees now. A lot of our internal marketing, I will say, is really focused on events and on sort of like new product launches. We brand our all company retreat. So that always gets like its own custom treatment. We make it feel like kind of that internal conference. So there's custom swag for that. And then we're really dialed in. We have a great relationship with our employee experience team. So we're always kind of curating our all hands every week. And making sure like a lot of the key messages, vision, values, all that are reiterated. The company's mission overall is to create more happy Mondays for employees everywhere. So, for example, one of our like initiatives along with the employee experience team was to like literally translate that. So we do these things called Monday Fun Days, which are just like delightful experiences that we have on random Mondays for our employees. So we've done things like candle making classes. We did like a cornhole tournament. And then there was, I think my favorite one, we had a bunch of wild animals that like a wildlife rescue came to the office. And we were able to hold like a python and like,
Oh, well,
I
I don't
know.
know about the python, but I love
Yes.
animals.
So, but yes, yes, there was like an armadillo and like the best, I mean, there was a baby kangaroo and like, just try and tell me I'm not having the happiest Monday of my life, like while I'm holding a baby kangaroo. It was so adorable. So we get to like literally translate the mission in some of those ways. Probably my favorite example most recently would be both from an internal and external like marketing initiative. We wrapped a city bus with the workshop logo and talked about how we're Omaha's fastest growing technology company. And
Wow.
I didn't really like it's a bright blue bus. I didn't expect it to have actually, if I'm honest with you, the internal reaction that it did. But when I announced it at an all hands meeting, the team literally screamed like the entire team and out loud. And so we took like a huge team photo with it. We were able to do like a bunch of things with it at a retreat. And then like the company spun up as organically, someone spun up like a bus sightings channel in Slack where people can like post photos of it when they see it like out on the street. So it was wild, but like that like engagement and excitement, like you can't like manufacture that. So it's really fun. Like when you see those things take off, it really just shows like kind of how when we're doing it right.
Absolutely. And I'd also like to add, Jamie, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that it's not only just about how great you are at engaging your employees through great internal communications type activities,
Yeah.
events, emails, that sort of thing. But I think it also has to come from a place of having that core foundation of great pillars that form the basis of an awesome culture, right? Because
Mhm.
if, from a culture perspective, your team members weren't happy working with Workshop to begin with, forget
Yeah.
the song and dance and the bells and whistles you're doing with the boss. They're like, whatever, I'm out. Would you agree with that? I mean, how does what's the culture like at Workshop as having that kind of a base foundation for what's really great internal comms, internal marketing activities?
Yeah, yeah, I think that's definitely a really key part of it. I mean, we obviously like because of who we are, we keep it really close to the vest. We really try to like practice what we preach, and make sure like if we're talking about internal communications and internal marketing, we are living all that ourselves. So, the culture here is really excellent. We're always kind of running like our employee NPS scores. We're always running surveys. We're always getting really great feedback from employees, just to make sure like that's all dialed in. But yeah, we're really kind of proud of what we've built, and continue to invest in that in all of these ways.
Awesome, awesome. And I know you mentioned surveys. I mean, and clearly you would use surveys as a way of kind of measuring the impact or what kind of employee experience you're driving. I mean, how does Workshop know that their employee experience focus and activities are working? I mean, you've spoken of the fact that you have an
Mhm.
employee experience team. So,
Yep.
how do they know that what they're doing is awesome and that it's working?
Yeah, yeah, I would agree. A lot of the sort of employee experience oriented things are pretty survey based. I think that might be fairly common. So we're always doing like post retreat surveys. Um, they ran like an employer brand survey really recently just to make sure like some of the messages that we were putting out externally match, how people were feeling internally. That ENPS, for anyone who might not be familiar with that, it's like an employee net promoter score. So most marketers would know the net promoter score, right? The same concept exists for employees. So that's just asking
Yeah.
employees, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to refer a friend to Workshop as like an employer? Are you happy with it? So we measure
Love
that the
that.
exact same way. Um, and then we're also always obviously using workshops as a way to kind of measure employee engagement a little bit. So workshops an internal communications email platform, the same way a marketer would measure the engagement of a prospect in like your marketing campaigns. When you send an email, just seeing how that open click through rate is. We did the exact same thing when we're communicating with employees. Like, our employees bought into this information? Are they interested in this content? And we're able to do all kinds of stuff like filter it by department, filter it by role, filter it by location, and see like, oh, okay, like maybe the sales team is on the move. So they're not going to sit and read a long email, or, like engineering might want something a little bit more concise or something like that. So we're always kind of digging into all that data and using our own products to kind of get a feel for those things as well.
Thanks for that, Jamie. And it kind of leads me to ask a bit of a related, somewhat tangential question. So, you are the marketing lead at Workshop. And again, great company, great culture, really doing a great job of leveraging internal marketing as part of a great employee experience. But as a marketer, your focus is largely external. Let's keep it real. You're being held accountable to how the company can achieve its growth objectives. And I'd love to know from your experience, how has workshops leveraging of internal marketing to create a great employee experience, how has that impacted your ability to achieve your marketing outcomes as well, your metrics, and how you ultimately perform as a marketer and how your team is able to deliver on what the company needs?
Yeah. So I think, I mean, in general, I feel like it's just made everything a little bit easier because employees just naturally, when they're excited about the company, when they're excited about the brand and what we're doing here, they want to talk about it. They want to share that. So everybody, we have a huge portion of our audience, even without a formal like employee advocacy program. We don't have that, but everybody at Workshop almost naturally does that on LinkedIn just because they're, excited about what we're doing here and the things that we're launching. So it makes it a lot easier for me. And they're excited to kind of share and amplify a lot of what I'm putting together.
Awesome. And I would agree with that because I have a similar experience too. At my day job, I'm a CMO at
Yeah.
GMMB, a financial group, and really just the job that we have done as an organization to really be serious about how we treat our employees, the kind of culture we're building, and making sure that our values internally reflect who we say we are to our customers externally. It's really been tremendous because it creates almost that kind of a natural, as I like to refer to it, army of marketers and voices that lend themselves to the brand messages you're putting out there, which arguably enjoys even greater reach than the reach we try to get through
Right.
traditional channels. So you and I are definitely on the same page where that is concerned. But Jamie, I know we've been talking about Workshop, but I know obviously Workshop has some awesome clients that
Yep.
it has been working and certainly you use the Workshop platform to do their own internal comms, internal marketing. And I'd love to just widen the scope a little bit. If you could share, I mean, if you're at liberty to share any particular experiences that you have and know of that your clients are doing, that they're executing, again, with the workshop platform, but just generally, how are they doing with respect to leveraging internal marketing to create an employee experience? What are they doing right?
Yeah, for sure. A few come to mind. I think one would be Brinker International they're the parent company of Chili's and Maggiano's. So they're a big restaurant chain.
Ah,
They are doing an incredible job of specifically, I would say, like the marketing part, really just leveraging kind of marketing campaigns to get employees excited. And they do a great job, I think, with like company values and processes and just getting the word out about a bunch of different things in general. But the favorite example that they've shared with us recently is that they are doing a lot of communications when marketing launches a new campaign, which is great. I think for a number of reasons. Like one, it's informing staff that they need to maybe stock up on specific items. They're doing like a free offer or like highlighting a specific menu item, just making sure that those teams are really prepped for that kind of demand. And then also just, in general, getting employees excited about a new initiative too. So if there's like a new TV commercial out about Chili's, like employees love that. Like they love to know what marketing is up to. Or I think the example they shared was that they had partnered with the Office Ladies podcast on like a summer margarita special. And you're like, I'm excited for them. And I don't even work
yeah,
at Chili's.
that
But
sounds great.
that sounds great, right? So, I think there's really like a lot of great insights there on communicating about marketing campaigns internally too. And then another really good example, it would be Smart Sweets, which is they're like a low sugar kind of sweet. They have like a Swedish fish knockoff. That's incredible. Fun fact. But they have
Okay.
such a fun brand. Like it's very brightly colored, it's candy, quote unquote, but their employee newsletter is called the Candygram, and, like, the headline of their employee newsletter is, like it says the word candygram and has, like, an exploding candy GIF all around it. So, like, the minute employees open that email, it's, like, exploding candy, which is delightful. They sign off every email with "Have a sweet day." So their brand is just, like, infused in all of their internal communications as well, and I think they just do such a stellar job of that.
Some great examples, some great examples. And what I'm picking up even in those examples is that they are doing activities that are aligned with their brand, who they are. So
Right.
they're they're being authentic about it. It's not like they're trying to do something because it's maybe the in thing or something else that's something that some other brand is doing. They're really staying true to who they are as a brand. And it comes out in those types of engagement activities that really, again, go towards building a great employee experience. Jamie, this has really been a great conversation. And I would really love to move into what is really the final section of my podcast, which is I have the same two standard questions that I ask all my awesome guests. And the first question is what I call the final nugget or the final takeaway. So you would have shared a number of things with us, particularly around your experience with workshop and your experience working with some of your awesome clients. And I'd love to know from your perspective, based on everything that you would have shared, Jamie, what's the key takeaway or the key nugget that you'd love our listeners to come away with today, having heard everything you would have shared?
Yeah, I think whenever, I am talking to marketers specifically and trying to convince them to really try this, I think my focus is always try it just once, right? Like
Yeah.
take one aspect of maybe that the company is struggling with. Maybe it's a specific goal, maybe it's a company value, and just like apply your skill set to marketing that the same way you would some kind of new campaign to prospects and create communications and materials that are really specific to employees, like make the employees your target audience and just like try that as a campaign and you will like just watch what happens and you will not overlook the employee audience again.
Thank you so much, Jamie. And of course, my final question is how can we, the internal marketing tribe, support you?
Yeah. So, workshop actually today, fun fact, we just launched a new LinkedIn group called Comms Chat. So I would love anyone who has really great examples of internal marketing, of internal communications that the marketing team has paired up on with like new campaigns, anything like that. Any really great examples of internal marketing, share those in comms chat. Share your like experience and expertise there. I feel like so much of internal communications is not transparent. People aren't willing to share kind of specific examples of when that goes right. Typically, what you see out in the world is examples of when internal communications went wrong, or when companies were laid off over Zoom and that kind of thing. And I just am really like I've seen when it goes right. So join me in like celebrating some of those moments so that other marketers can be equally as inspired.
Awesome. Sounds great. I love that idea. And of course, we'll leave a link to that LinkedIn group, Comms Chat, in the show notes. So we'll leave a link there so folks can get to it easily. And yes, share, because that's really the purpose of community, right? It's about how can we share in a way that helps us to learn and grow from each other and grow together. It's wonderful. Jamie, thank you so much for joining me for this conversation. It was super insightful. And again, I'm always grateful to Workshop for your partnership and congratulations on all the success that you guys have been experiencing. I mean, just 60 employees alone. I think when you and I first spoke, I don't even know if you were at 10 yet.
No,
It was
but
like, wow.
two.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, wow. So it's awesome, awesome stuff. Really excited for you guys.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, just looking forward to seeing and hearing more about Workshop and all the great things you're doing to support organizations who are really serious and deliberate about engaging their employees in a very meaningful way. So, all the best to you and yours. And we'll talk again soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Internal Marketing Podcast. I'm sure you got some great takeaways from this conversation. And if you haven't already subscribed to the Internal Marketing Podcast, then please join the tribe. And don't forget to leave a review and share this podcast with anyone whom you believe will find it valuable as well. I'm your host, Kerry-Ann Stimson, and I look forward to your joining me next time.